Record. Estamos hoy. We are here. I'm going to make it in English because I have a lot of people who wanted to learn this. And it's about hormones. Ladies, we are going through either premenopause or menopause, and we need to learn about our bodies. Have you felt like you are trapped in your body? Can you hear me well?
I do.
Yeah. So have you felt like you're trapped in your body, like you don't know what's happening, you don't feel yourself, can't sleep, can't work, forget things, gain weight, and just struggling with life, getting a lot of stress every day. And you can blame all this on your hormones. If you're over the age of 30, sometimes it starts premenopause 10 years before menopause fully goes. And while you're in menopause, other changes happened. I don't want to say, you know what, this is horrible, this is the worst thing that can happen, because I can share with you there is light on the other side of the sunshine. You have the power to make changes, and through alternative medicine, you can get control of your hormones. At least control of that, right? There's some things that you don't have control, but you have control over your sleep. You have control over at what time are you planning to go to sleep. You have control about what do you do, your routines. You have control about the workouts. You have control of the journaling. You have control of the mindset that you want to have every day by doing a meditation, right? Other things we don't control. We don't control how our bodies are reacting. One thing I heard that is super helpful to me is that your body works, or the hormone changes work like a bank account. When you started your period, that's when the bank account was full. But the earlier you started your period, the earlier your menopause will be, if that makes sense. How many of you started at the age of 13 or 14?
Me,
When,
15.
when 15?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a little bit more of
Me
time.
at night.
Susanna at 9.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. So listen, because you started so early, your menopause will start earlier. You might be going through it right now. How old are you right now?
48.
48. See, you're young as me.
Yes, we are.
It, yes, we are super young. And this helped me to understand. And this is not about a competition, it's not also a straightforward answer, but it gives you a clue that you might be going through these changes right now, and to have a calculation of when this started. Okay. Then another thing that you have to take into consideration, it's when did it start for your mom? When did it start for your grandma? I want you to ask, if they're still with you, I want you to ask them when their period started and when the menopause started and what kind of symptoms they have. Because that gene information is in you. You carry that information in your genes. All right. So I want to take that into consideration. I want to share also this presentation that explains a little bit more about what I do. Welcome back.
Ya se desconectó.
Así pasa. Can you see my screen? Give me thumbs
Yes.
up. Okay, great. So harmony through hormones, natural solutions for perimenopause. But I'm also going to talk about menopause, so don't worry about it. In its natural medicine, I want you to learn that back in 2002, there was a change on how women were transitioning through menopause. We used to have a treatment, a hormone replacement, that after a study that wasn't that fully studied. As we know, many things happen with medicine nowadays that women don't have control over their bodies much. This study back in 2002 determined, which is with a very small amount of people, that the treatment wasn't good. All right. It was around, I think, 100 people, and one person developed breast cancer after having this hormone treatment. One person in 100 people, it will make the 25%. And that was enough for them to determine that this system, that this hormone replacement program they have, wasn't valid anymore. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes medicine doesn't disclose all the information that goes through it. I'm not saying don't believe to your doctor, don't go to the doctor. No, I'm not saying that. But sometimes we need to study and learn more about our bodies. And this is the holistic approach that I want to bring to you today. So there we have some of the symptoms of the stages of menopause. So with premenopausal symptoms, that's what it starts first. Then when the perimenopause starts, the symptoms of hormonal changes start getting back up. What are those symptoms? Irregular periods, hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, anxiety, sleep disturbances, weight gain, and bloating. You don't know where that belly comes from, and low energy and fatigue. During menopause, what means being in menopause, that these symptoms, or at least your period, had stopped for 12 months. Your ovaries stop producing eggs, and the average age is 51. But this, again, this is the average for women that could probably start it at the age of 15. In the cases like Susanna, when you started earlier, you might be going already through all these changes a little bit before that age. And postmenopause, it says that it's 1 year after your last period, and it will remain on this stage for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that it had stopped. All right. So I want you to I wish somebody had explained us this. But doctors, even the best doctors right now, they don't have the time to go through these symptoms and changes. When they study a woman, we're so complex, ladies, so complex and so beautiful, perfectly made by God. We have life inside of us. So there's so many chemical changes, so many chemical actions that happen inside of our bodies, that it will be so hard for one person to understand. And this is the reason why you have to study hormones, symptoms, but not only that. I want you to go through your genealogical tree, talk to your mom, to your grandmother, make a journal, find out your clues, because based on that, you will find your solutions. So the common misunderstandings: it's just a phase, nothing can help me, you must suffer through it, hormonal changes are only physical. It is not only physical, ladies, you know it, right? You know that affects your job, affects your relationships, affects your mental, physical, everything. That's why we need to find holistic solutions that can apply to our relationships, apply to our emotional beings, and our mental health. So here's one of the biggest changes. What causes hormonal imbalances? The shifts in estrogen. Estrogen is produced in your ovaries. When we stop or we start reducing the amount of estrogen that we're producing, guess what? We are going to suffer from tachycardias, and in our estrogen increase can be felt or decrease. Estrogen helps our bodies to battle inflammation. And I want to sit on this for a little bit because I've been talking to ladies and they all complain about some kind of inflammation in the bodies. And I'll explain. If you have shoulder, they call it the frozen shoulder. It is inflammation. If your shoulders start hurting, if your knees start hurting, if your foot, you have plantar fasciitis, that is inflammation. If your back is hurting, that is inflammation. Estrogen, if it goes low, the regular levels in ladies, is not showing big changes in your blood work. That's why many doctors don't even take into consideration this, because they say there's a minimal. Well, that minimal change impacts your body in a big way. So estrogen levels, when they drop because you're not producing any more from your ovaries, or if you had an hysterectomy, when they remove your uterus, guess what? You're not producing anymore. So you start getting these synthetic hormones that they will replace the estrogen levels, but they don't always are accepted by your body, because you might have some issues with your kidneys that they don't allow you to process all these hormones. Your liver might be suffering from fat liver syndrome. All these things have to be taken into consideration. So if you go to your doctor, like I did, this is my story. I went a year ago with a knee problem. It hurt. And they got MRI and they saw that it was an injury. Ladies, I've been carrying this injury for over 20 years. I had it since I was 18. And they decided to do a surgery. I decided to do the surgery thinking that this was going to be the solution. Nobody checked on my estrogen levels. And guess what? They were dropping. This affects your bones. And let me go now to progesterone. Needless to say, estrogen and progesterone, they work simultaneously. If one is up, the other one is low. If the one is low, the other one goes up. So when progesterone starts decreasing, you start having problems sleeping, anxiety. The minute you drop progesterone, producing progesterone in your body, you start waking up at 3 a.m. Anybody there? Or am I the only one? Everybody starts waking up at between 1 and 3. And they start saying, well, listen, you might be too stressed out because of work. Did you know that 1 out of 5 women, they did a study in UK, 1 out of 5 women, when they start getting in perimenopause, they drop work. They can concentrate because of the levels of progesterone and cortisol. And because they are always in this cloud, can focus, forget things, they decided to drop and not work anymore. And because there's so much or so many bad things talked about hormonal replacement, they stop looking for help. And I don't want you to be there. I don't want us to be there. Not anymore. Stress goes up, poor sleep, and diet starts hitting, because now you are suffering from anxiety. You're not sleeping well. When you don't sleep at night, the next day you will consume 300 calories more. It's just your body trying to adjust and trying to find energy from the food, because obviously you can sleep. And then you're sleepy during the day and then awake at night. Studies show that when the premenopause start hitting, you start producing cholesterol. So hear me on this. When a woman between the ages of 35 and 50, out of nowhere, even eating healthy, even exercising every day, even keeping a lifestyle that is healthy, it is diagnosed with cholesterol, I want you to stop right there and think about other factors. You need to get your estrogen, progesterone, and cortisol levels checked, because if you start taking medicine that they're currently given to control cholesterol, it might affect your heart. And when you start getting these heart palpitations, I don't want you to ignore them. I want you to go to the doctor and get that checked. Before you start taking medication, there are other changes you have to start taking, because it's your hormones that is producing these changes in your cholesterol levels. All right, there are studies that show that. And I have so much information that I want to share with you, but for this purpose, just wanted to touch this point. Now, we have to talk about environmental toxins and lifestyle factors. Environmental toxins, we're talking about xenoestrogens. What are these? These are chemicals in your clothes softener, in the smell that you plug in, those plugins, that it's in your soft sheets to dry. They are everywhere, even in your lotions, your facials, everything that you do contains nowadays so much xenoestrogens, that this xenoestrogen is a chemical that pretends to be estrogen, or your receptors in your body receptors as estrogen, not knowing that it's not estrogen. So what it does, increases your progesterone, and because it's not really estrogen, this imbalance start affecting you having sweat at night, because out of nowhere you don't understand why you're feeling this way. Night sweats, by the way, they can be stopped. And there are other clients that I've been working with that we go through other factors and blood work, finding what is causing this disturbance in your body. And most likely is either something that you have contact with, or you are allergic to, or you are intolerant to. Most of the cases is gluten. And ladies, this is not something that happens night and day. This is not something that you woke up one day is like, oh my gosh, my body's going crazy. This is something we did to our bodies back when we were 20. When we were doing all these crazy diets, when we were trying to lose weight, when we were changing our bodies so much because of the we wanted to look like the girls in the magazine, or we wanted to be accepted, we wanted to be loved. And when we go there, I want you to know that you're perfect. It doesn't matter what happened before. Now you can change it. You can start loving, accepting yourself the way you are, and start making arrangements so your body will stay healthy for longer. Because what's the goal at the end of the day? The goal at the end of the day is that we have a healthy lifestyle, we have a healthy body, so we can last longer without any other issues, without osteoporosis, without breaking bones, without losing muscle mass, without getting other mental issues, right? Because this starts as depression, as anxiety. And when you start taking medicine without taking care of what's really happening in your body, it will not help you to heal. It will damage you more. I hope this makes sense. And because of that, we have to look for natural solutions for balance. So whenever you feel hungry, we are not 20 anymore. We know that. Our our metabolism goes lower every year, around 5%. And I heard that once you turn 65, if you stay without activity, you lose muscle mass in a minute. So why don't we help our bodies going through this transition with some good nutrition, exercise, mental health that works for us? Not what it works for your neighbor, or works for somebody else, or even worked before for your grandmother or your grandmother or your mom, because times have changed. we don't have the same amount of stress. We are doubling or tripling the amount of stress we manage every day, right? First of all, most of us were immigrants here, and there are other challenges we have to look for. We have to fight three times more to get that job done or get that position. We don't have family around, so we have to manage children, husbands, significant others, business, jobs, all these things at the same time without any other help. And community is one of the most important things into a healthy lifestyle. So why we need to really focus on whole foods? It's not because we want to lose weight, ladies. I want you to take that focus. Yes, it is important, but I want you to look at it with other eyes, with other lenses. It's about leafy greens, healthy fats, lean protein. Did you know that you need to eat around 100 grams of protein every day so you don't lose muscle mass? It is really important. And the muscle is also helps you to keep your blood sugar and it helps you to feel full. This is one of the most important macronutrients that we have in our nutrition, protein. And then exercise. Ladies, if we don't have time, I don't want you to stress over trying to complete a routine that is 40 minutes. And I touch bases with many of my clients about this. You're looking to pay for your personal trainer, to go to the gym every day, then go for walks, and then add any other activities that you have. Number one, you are overextending yourself with the amount of time that you have dedicated for exercise. Number two, your priorities have to be in place in order for you to have peace and calm in your body and your mind. So if you start dedicating so much time to exercise, are you realistically giving time for your family and your children? That is important too. So manage. If you can only go for walks for 15 minutes, go for a walk for 15 minutes. That's it. You can do it every day. Stay consistent. That's what it matters the most. Stress management. Practice mindfulness, meditation, and breathing exercises. I call it exercising my meditation. Why? Because it helps me to breathe deeply. And there's so many exercises that can adjust to you, to your needs. Are you working on yourself? Are you working to break through maybe some past trauma? This is a different breathing and a different meditation, a different affirmation that you have to do. So I always recommend work with a coach that they can hear you, hear all the details about your life, details about your family, details about you, and create a plan that really incorporates all this together. Now we're going to talk about supplements. There's so many out there. And other than not synthetic, but more, there's so many good products out there. But this is what you have to look for. Omega-3, magnesium, and adaptogenic herbs. This is ashwagandha, maca, and all these other things that many of my clients and coaches are familiar with. In lifestyle adjustment. Create a consistent sleeping routine. You already know. If you are what I call it a sleeping hygiene, what is the sleeping hygiene? You have to start setting up an alarm at least 1 hour before your sleeping time. Because what? You have to put the kids to sleep, prepare anything that you need to prepare the night before, whether it's uniforms, lunch boxes, your clothes to go to work, your makeup, where you're going to wear, all this. You can prepare all this, but you need time. And then when you go to sleep, make sure you have something that helps you to calm down. It could be a meditation, dry brushing, uh, a hot tub, something that helps you to calm your body down, a signal to your body, to your brain to say it's time to go to sleep. This is, and I have a whole routine. I can send it over to you, but this is the hygiene, the sleeping hygiene. Reduce exposure to toxins, and that includes skincare, cleaning products, ladies, and any of this, most of the time, anything that smells very nice and sweet and is very toxic, very toxic. So why we want that? Because we want better energy, better mood, stable weight, and improved digestion. Health in the gut is health in the brain. Repeat that with me. Health in the gut is health in the brain. If you're having problems with your digestion right now, it might be because of the hormonal changes. But if we can pinpoint and work harder on that nutrition with adaptogens and making sure that you have enough fiber, it will help you to keep your digestion in good standing, and that will help you with the weight. Restful sleep and fewer hot flashes. Yes, yes, we don't want hot flashes anymore. Overall feelings of empowerment and balance. That's what we're looking for. So, ladies, let's talk about it. I am, if you don't have my information, I dropped it in the program in the event. You can set a one-on-one call with me for free. I would love to hear from you. We can create a plan and we can talk about what's the next step because you deserve it. You are so worthy of having this chance. We can talk about hormones. And here I'm going to add my personal experience with hormones. I start having hot flashes. These hot flashes that I have my whole bed entirely drenched out of sweat. After having my third child at the age of 38, I didn't know, but that was my premenopause bell. That was it. This is when we started. And little did I knew, I know the conversations were going with a doctor who wanted to place me in hormonal um, medicine. I don't even know. I didn't give him the chance to tell me anything because of all this information that I had before. However, a few months ago, I started with this other program with my functional doctor that had the time to explain me more in detail what the benefits are. I'm in a compound medicine. That means that it's something that you don't find in the pharmacy and it's based on natural hormones coming from horses and animals that are natural and synthesized better in your body. There's so many options we can go over, but I chose the specific ones. I've been able to sleep. I've been able to have energy again. The focus is still working on that, but I have supplements that is helping. They are going to help me with that as well. And it's about having quality of life, ladies. And I feel like that it's a big change for me. I dedicated over 6 years to learn more, over more like 10, to learn more about what it is to feel in the hormonal environment, what it is for us to feel finally ourselves and empowered and balanced. And I want to share all that with you, and I want to explore that with you. These are common misdiagnosed in perimenopause. For depression and anxiety, this is the longest. Most of the doctors listen to the ladies and they say, you know what, I'm super depressed. I have a lot of anxiety. I think it's the work. I think it's my husband, which is normally what we are blaming. And they give them medicine. Thyroid disorders, they give them thyroid medicine. And ladies, sometimes it's not even the thyroid. They chronic fatigue syndrome, and they send them vitamin B12, fibromyalgia, because they can find exactly what's the problem with the inflammation all over the body. They tell them that is IBS because of the inflammation of your intestines, heart disease, high blood pressure, all these disorders, ladies. Look at the percentage of women that they get diagnosed with the wrong diagnosis because these are perimenopause symptoms. And I want you to check now vitamin deficiency, autoimmune disease. Are you here? Do you want to keep being part of the statistics or you want to make some changes? So here are some examples of what these symptoms feel like. I pretty much had them all. Brown nails, links to solid low iron, vitamin D, B12, I've been taking supplements for over 10 years for all of this with a little of fix, but not as myself again. And with the changes on hormonal changes, we need a little bit more. Perimenopause is not the end, it's a new beginning. I want you to embrace it. Together, we can navigate this journey with strength and grace. It doesn't need to be super hard or impossible, ladies. So, I'm running a course in January, but I have a special price of $149 until December 31st. And we'll identify the challenges and the negative thought patterns and beliefs that we have about ourselves and our health. I identify beliefs through patterns about food, nutrition, eating habits, and mindful eating. I will help you with physical activity, stress management, sleep management, time management, and prioritization and motivation. You get all this is as a group or individual for $149 for 12 weeks. Like, this is super good. It is like one of the best plans. I really want you to learn all these things and optimize your health. I will help you with blood work to understand a little bit more with time into what the doctor means by these terms or these numbers. And yeah, that's it, ladies. Do you have any questions for me right now? I'm going to stop the sharing. And I'm going to stop the recording.